Today is a very auspicious day, Gopashtami day or Gopashtami also. It is written in Kartik Mahatmya, Shuklashtami Kartike tu Smrita Gopashtami Budai Tad Dinat Vasudeva Bhut Gopah Purvam tu Vatsapa in Padma Puran. In the glories of the month of Kartik. So it means the 8th lunar day of the bright fortnight of the month of Kartik is known by authorities as Gopashtami. From that day, Lord Vasudev served as a cowherd, whereas previously he had tended the calves. Means Krishna, when he is more young, then he is taking out only calves because they are small and more easy to guide and take care. But from today onwards, when he came to a certain age, then he started to, Nanda Maharaj now ordered him to graze cows because he's bigger. So they made a very big festival of inauguration of Krishna becoming cowherd. Means he will. So in Vrindavan, there is a big festival on this day. And also we have to worship cow today. Cow is one object of worship. It is stated in Shastra also. She is one of the 7 different mothers because we are getting milk, and from milk ghee is made, and it is used for yagya and for worship of Krishna and so many. And all demigods, they are residing in the cows. And cow has all good qualities. She is only living for the benefit of all others. You will not find any harm from cow. Everything is good. Urine of cow is pure. You can use for many things, also for health. Cow dung is pure, although it is stool, but it is pure of cow. So you can make many things from that also. They are burning and for isolation and for fertilizer and milk, and they are very peaceful, and you become happy when seeing them and touching them. You automatically become happy. And even after they give up the body, their skin can be used for mridanga. Those who died natural, that is used for mridanga drum. So we should not do any atrocities, any cruel behavior towards cows. Then Krishna will be dissatisfied. But if someone is serving the cow, then Krishna will be very pleased. It is also in 64 limbs of devotional practice. One, there is to serve the Brahmins and cows, and that to respect that Amlaki tree and Ashwata tree, those which are auspicious. So this is also cow. So on today's day, especially, they will do, like on Govardhan Puja, they will do arati of cow and offer all articles and also prasad, rice, sabji, everything mixed together, dal, then you give with hand and cow will take, or apple you can give, or banana, and parikrama you can do, and offer cloth and ornaments, garland, everything. once it happened in Delhi. Every year I am saying, because it is by Krishna's some desire. One day, 1 year, maybe 2006 or 7 something, or 8 that time. Suddenly, we were waiting for Mangal Arati before, and suddenly that brahmachari called down, quickly, you come. So we came down, and there was one cow in front of our Delhi mat. Delhi mat is totally in the center of Delhi, near railway station. In Paharganj, there you will not see cows. And there were narrow street. But that day one cow came from somewhere, and that brahmachari, who was also engaged in the seva, that Udaram Prabhu or Uttam Prabhu, quickly he brought some apples, and we gave to cow, and she was eating. Then after she ate, then she went. And that day was Gopashtami day. So by Krishna's will, we could get that opportunity to serve cow on that day in front of our mat. It's very mystical. And yes, this Gopashtami is very special. I still remember when in 99, when we were doing Brajamandal Parikrama, we were in Gokul Mahavan when this Gopashtami came, and so many cows, they came to the mat. Some Brajabasis they brought, and they were having hand stamps on them with some color, and a big festival, and someone was Krishna and one was Baladev, and they looked very beautiful. Some kind of drama they made, a big festival and feast and everything. And also today is, so on today's day we have to worship cow. We have to put on altar cow. In the Mayapur mat also, 1 year one new brahmachari had to go there to Navadip on another side to bring one new cow for the altar. Also today is Disappearance Day of 3 personal associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Our Gurudev wrote their biographies. I will just briefly, because it is not possible everything. Shri Gadhadhar Das, not Gadhadhar Pandit of Panchatattva, but Gadhadhar Das. Gadhadhar Pandit of Panchatattva is Radharani, and in Krishna Lila Radharani's effulgence, that shining of Radharani, or her opulence, he appeared in Gaur Lila as Gadhadhar Das. That shine of Radharani, he's a person. She who during Krishna's avatar was Chandrakanti, the manifestation of Radharani's ornaments, or later it is said, effulgence, has become Gadhadhar Das by Gauranga's side. Balaram's beloved Purnananda has also entered into him for some special purpose. More than one can be in one form. He is counted amongst the followers of Gauranga Mahaprabhu as well as Nityananda Prabhu. Although he was preaching with Nityananda Prabhu when Mahaprabhu sent Nityananda to Bengal, and Nityananda Prabhu is in Sakya Rasa, Baladev, but Gadadhar Das was always in Madhurja Rasa, in the mood of Gopi Bhav. and he established the temple of Gauranga in Katwa, where Mahaprabhu took sannyas. His home was in Aryadaha village, situated 8 miles north of Kolkata. After Mahaprabhu's disappearance, he moved from Navadip to Katwa and then later to Aryadaha. He was also supervising the household affairs of Sachimata and Vishnupriya during that time, and when they disappeared, he moved to Katwa, where he established the worship of Gauranga deity. The temple is currently known in Katwa as Mahaprabhu Bari. Some days back, we heard the auspicious arrival of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Panihati village in Raghav Pandit's house, when Mahaprabhu was going towards Vrindavan, but he came back. He wanted to go Vrindavan, but they turned back and went back to Puri. So there he stopped in Panihati. That is the time where he met Gadhadhar Das for the first time in that place. When Gadhadhar Das heard that Mahaprabhu had arrived at Raghav Pandit's house, he ran to see him. Gadhadhar Das is extremely dear to Mahaprabhu. His body is charged with the joy of devotion. When the Lord saw the pious Gadadhar, he lifted his feet and placed them on his head, from Chaitanya Bhagavat. So the Nityananda Prabhu's associates, they displayed some miraculous powers also, and they were always intoxicated by prema. So Gadadhar Das also, he was in the mood of gopi. So when they were going, he was shouting, "Who wants yogurt?" to buy yogurt, in the mood of gopi, and sometimes milk, like this, when they were preaching. And one day, Madhavananda Ghosh, we heard Madhav Ghosh, Basu Ghosh, and Govinda Ghosh. Madhavananda Ghosh, he came to the house of Gadadhar Das, and they made one drama of Dan Keli Lila, when Krishna and cowherd boys, they are demanding tax from gopis. So that drama they did, and Nityananda Prabhu came there to watch also. It happened in Gadadhar Das's house. And once also it happened in that village, Aryadaha, there was a very powerful Qazi, that is administrator, Muslim. So he was very cruel and antagonistic to Kirtan and to religion. He hated the very sound of the congregational chanting of Krishna's names. So polluted, so degraded by prema. So one day, in full ecstasy, he came to that palace of that Qazi and went straight, and no one could check him. No bodyguards, no nothing. He went straight there to Qazi's room, and Qazi asked him. He was very disturbed at first, but when Gadadhar Das came near, then he also became pacified by the influence of Gadadhar Das. He was in trance-like state, Gadadhar Das. So when he saw him, he calmed down and he asked him, "Why you came here?" Then Gadadhar said, "Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, they appeared in this world to induce everyone to chant Harinam. Only you did not yet start chanting Harinam. So I came here to tell you, you should chant Harinam. Then all your sinful reactions will be destroyed." Then Qazi smiled and said, No, tomorrow I will chant Krishna's name. Today you go home. Tomorrow I will chant Krishna's name. Then Gadadhar Das danced jubilantly and said, "Why tomorrow? You have just uttered the name of Krishna now." Because he said, "Tomorrow I will chant the name of Krishna." Now that you have taken the name of Hari, you will never again know any inauspiciousness. So Gadhadhar Das converted the irascible Kaji through his divine power. This impossible task became possible because his body had become possessed by Krishna. This is the glory of Gadhadhar Das, who has been counted as one of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's intimate associates. Just seeing him, who is constantly in an ecstatic devotional mood, erases all of one's sinful reactions. So here also from Chaitanya Charitamrita, what I told before, that Gadhadhar Das was in the mood of Gopi in the preaching party of Nityananda Prabhu in Bengal. And he was also present where Raghunath Das Goswami made that festival of rice and yogurt. And Gadhadhar Das Disappearance Day is a day of waning moon, means in Kartik. Srinivas Acharya, whose disappearance day is also today, that time he was living, Srinivas Acharya put on a huge festival on the occasion of Gadhadhar Das's disappearance day, in which many exalted Vaishnavas participated. Like the one at Keturi, this festival was greatly renowned throughout the Vaishnava community. What can I say about Kartik Krishna Ashtami? My Prabhu disappeared here on that day. Gadhadhar Das's Samadhi tomb is situated on the grounds of the Mahaprabhu Bari temple in Katwa, close to Keshava Bharati's Samadhi tomb. So I am going down to Gadhadhar Das Prabhu and praying for his causeless mercy, for pure devotion to Krishna and his devotees. And also today is Dhananjay Pandit Disappearance. In Krishna Lila, he is one of the 12 prominent cowherd boy associates of Baladev Prabhu, 12 Gopals. One of them is Vasudam. So he became Dhananjay Pandit in Gaur Lila. Dhananjay Pandit was Nityananda Prabhu's dear servant. He was very renounced and full of love for Krishna. He was married in Shitalgram. His wife is Haripriya, but they had no children. There are descendants from him by disciplic. He had disciples, so that family is continuing the seva of that deity he established. He would prostrate himself in obeisance before Tulsi Devi 3 times a day. He was married when very young, but this did not stop him from leaving on a pilgrimage shortly after his wedding. His wealthy father gave him money for traveling expenses, but Dhananjay gave it all to Mahaprabhu and carried only a begging bowl. So whatever father gave him, he gave to Mahaprabhu for his service, and he was begging on his pilgrimage all the time. So Dhananjay's main home was in Shitalgram. The deities of Gopinath, Nitai Gaurango and Damodar worshipped by him are still being served there. These deities are brought into a field not far from the temple, where the Disappearance Day festival is held annually in the middle of Magh. This is another maybe opinion or maybe appearance, middle of Magh. So Dhananjay Pandit also participated in Mahaprabhu's Lila Sinavadip in Kirtans, and from there he went back to Shitalgram. Then he went to Vrindavan for Parikrama, And he, before traveling to Vrindavan, he stayed for a few days in Sanchara, leaving a disciple who was traveling with him in charge of the deity service. Nityananda Prabhu delivered the most fallen and crushed the atheistic. These powers were manifest in his dear devotee Dhananjay. Dhananjay Pandit converted many robbers and atheists in the Shital Gram area. Dhananjay Pandit was an extraordinarily great Vaishnava. Nityananda Prabhu took up permanent residence in his heart from Chaitanya Bhagavat. As one enters the Shital Gram temple, a small Tulsi altar stands on the left. This is the site of Dhananjay Pandit's Samadhi. His disappearance day is the Krishna Ashtami of Kartik month. So I am going down to Dhananjay Pandit Prabhu to pray for his causeless mercy. This is in brief. You will find more details about Gadhadhar Das and him in Gurudev's book. And also today is Srinivas Acharya's disappearance day. His father is Gadhadhar. He was there when Mahaprabhu took sannyas in Katwa. And out of separation grief, he was always saying, Ha Chaitanya, Ha Chaitanya, Ha Chaitanya. So after that, everyone started to call him Chaitanya Das. He was fully renounced, pure devotee, and his wife also, Lakshmi Priya. So, but they were both indifferent to the things of this world, but one day he suddenly felt a strong wish to have a son and told this to his wife Lakshmi Priya. Then she told him, okay, then you have to go to Mahaprabhu, to Puri, and tell him. So they both went to Puri and they bowed down to Mahaprabhu, and before they could say anything, Mahaprabhu already told, Jagannath Dev will fulfill your desire. Then other devotees asked what he meant. Then Mahaprabhu told to Govinda, his personal servant, in a deep voice, as if from a trance, he spoke, Chaitanya Das desires to have a child. Indeed, his wife will soon give birth to a jewel of a son who will be named Srinivas. He will be the manifest form of my love and will increase everyone's enthusiasm for devotion. I will bring scriptures into the world through Rupa Goswami and others. They are writing Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami. Through Srinivas, I shall distribute them. Srinivas is the embodiment of pure love for me. All minds will be enthused and will become enthusiastic upon seeing him. So when they received this blessing, then Chaitanya Das and Lakshmi Priya went back home, and at the auspicious time, he was born, Srinivas. Mahaprabhu already told his name and everything. And the associates of Mahaprabhu, such as Govinda Ghosh, and the residents of Sri Kanda, such as Narahari, Raghunandan, poured affectionate blessings on the child. Narahari Adi Kauri Chamaradulai, the personal associate of Mahaprabhu. So he heard about Mahaprabhu's divine glories and Radha Krishna from his father, Chaitanya Das. Father and son would go into an ecstatic state as they discussed these transcendental topics. His mother trained him in various forms of Nama Sankirtan. He studied grammar literature and poetic theory from Dhananjay Vidyavachaspati and quickly acquired mastery of these subjects. So then, after some time, his father left this world and Srinivas was very depressed, but other devotees, they pacified him, and he was visiting the houses of devotees, Narahari Sarkar, like this. So from Narahari Sarkar, he heard that maybe Mahaprabhu will soon leave this world. So Srinivas immediately went to Puri to take his darshan, but while on the way with other devotees, those coming from Mayapur, they got the news Mahaprabhu already left. So then Srinivas Acharya, he was so depressed that he wanted to kill himself out of separation. However, the Lord himself, means Mahaprabhu, appeared to him in a dream and told him to complete his journey to Puri. Once in Puri, he again had a dream in which he saw Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra as well as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with his associates. Some dreams are material dreams, some dreams are spiritual dreams. So you can get darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates in dream he got. Then he was pacified. Then also he met there Gadhadhar Pandit, Goswami, he was still living, and other associates of Mahaprabhu, Raya Ramananda, Paramananda Puri, Sannyasi, Shiki Mahiti, Sarvambhat Acharya, Bakreshwar Pandit, Govinda, personal servant of Mahaprabhu, Shankar Pandit, Gopinath Acharya, and received blessings from them. And while Srinivas Acharya was staying in Puri for some time, he was hearing Bhagavatam from Gadhadhar Pandit, Goswami. Then Gadhadhar told him, now you go back to Bengal. And when he was on the way to Bengal, he heard that Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu also disappeared. Then again he was depressed and wanted to commit suicide. But the two Prabhus appeared to him in a dream to assuage his grief and persuaded him to give up his resolve. And in Mayapur, he met Banshivananda Thakur and Vishnu Priya Devi. And he was very impressed how Vishnu Priya Devi is serving Mahaprabhu in separation. And he also got a dream of Sachi Mata. That time already she disappeared, but in dream he got her darshan. So many dreams he had. And this is not end, it will come more. So then he was visiting many associates of Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, seeking their blessings in different places in Bengal. He met Murari Gupta, Shrivas Pandit, Damodar Pandit, Shuklambar Brahmachari, Gadhadhar Das, Parameshwari Das, Jannaba Devi, Boshuda Devi, Bir Badra, Abhiram Thakur, Narahari Sarkar Thakur, and Raghunandan Thakur. All these great personalities witnessed Srinivasa's intense devotion and told him to go to Vrindavan. Srinivas then went to his mother and repeatedly asked for her permission to make the trip. His mother could not refuse when she saw his eagerness. Then, when he came to Vrindavan, first he was visiting different holy places, Ayodhya, Kashi, Prayag. Then in Vrindavan he met Rupa Sanatan Goswami, Kashishwar, they already disappeared, and Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. But Raghunath Das Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and Jiva Goswami were still living. So he took initiation from Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And he also wrote that famous song. Srinivas Acharya wrote that famous song, Shara Goswami Ashtaka, Krishnat Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamritam Bonidi. Dhira Dhira Jana Priyo Priyo. That song. Bande Rupa Sanatana Raghujugo Shri. because he was a disciple of Gopal Bhatta Goswami, but he was studying all the scriptures from Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami was Acharya at that time. So he was teaching, they were schoolmates, Srinivas Acharya, Narottam, and Dukhi Krishna Das, and Jiva Goswami gave them these titles, Acharya to Srinivas. How it happened, one day Sri Jiva Goswami heard Srinivas explain a verse from Ujjwal Nilamani and was so impressed by his erudition that he bestowed the title Acharya upon him. And Jiva Goswami also gave the title Thakur to Narottam and to Dukhi Krishnadas, Shyamananda. Then after they studied all scripture, then Jiva Goswami ordered them to take the scriptures of the Goswamis and preach in Bengal. That time there was no printing press, only one copy, hand copy you have to make. So they had to be very careful, and they were traveling through Muslim areas, and they did not sleep at night at all. So careful, so that nothing would happen. But when they came to Bon Bishnupur, that is Hindu area, there they thought, okay, here there will be no problem. So they relaxed and they took prasad and they slept very sound sleep they got because they were very tired. But some rumors came to the king that some wealth is coming, passing through his kingdom. Then king asked his own personal astrologer to see if it is true or not. Then that astrologer said yes, very great wealth came. Then king, his character is like this. In the morning he will hear Srimad Bhagavatam with other devotees, and during daytime he will do administration of the country, and during night time he was a robber, all in one. So he told to his men to steal that, but they should not kill anyone. So those robbers, they first worship Chandi, that is Kali, from which Chandigarh also comes, place of Chandi. Like Kolikata, that is Chandigarh. So Chandi. And they came, and one spy saw that they are all sleeping, no problem. So they just took that, and they took to king, and when they opened, the king was disappointed seeing only books. Then he rebuked his astrologer, how you made such mistake? He said, no, I did not make mistake. I calculated many times. Even now, if I'm calculating, every time it comes same. Some great wealth came to your country. But just by seeing those books, because they are transcendental books, he got Sukriti. He was affected by that, and he also became sorry why he stole. So when in the morning, the Birhambir is the name of king. In the morning when Narottam Thakur, Srinivas Acharya and Shyamananda woke up, they were very disappointed to see that someone stole that. So they thought, and they were searching everywhere but could not find, they thought better we kill ourselves out of separation. So Srinivas Acharya many times in his life came to this point that he wanted to give up his life because of separation grief from devotees and Mahaprabhu, and here also because of the service. So, but local people, when they saw how they are distressed, they said, we think our king did it because we know he's a robber, so better you check with him first. Then Srinivas said to Narottam and Shyamananda, you go further to Bengal and to Orissa preaching. I will remain here, I will try to get. So one Brahmin, Krishna Ballabh, he said to Srinivas Acharya that I will take you to the king. He's hearing Bhagavatam, and he introduced him to the king also. And king was very attracted by his beauty, everyone there attracted. And then Srinivas Acharya went there to hear Bhagavatam class. Then in the middle, once he said, ah, like this. Then king asked him, what happened? Why you are saying like this? Then Srinivas Acharya said, because the speaker, he said one apasidanta, wrong conclusion he gave, wrong philosophy. Then king said, ask, you know Bhagavatam? Can you explain also Bhagavatam? He said, yes. Then immediately king said, okay, then from today on you will speak Bhagavatam. So he was speaking Bhagavatam, and when they were hearing from him, then their heart changed, purified, and the king became his disciples and some others also there. And they gave him a place of stay in secluded place. Then one day they heard Srinivas Acharya inside the room, he's crying. Then they thought, oh, Sarvanash means very bad. Gurudev is unhappy with our service. We did some offense. Very bad. So king very humbly, he entered after in the room and said, Gurudev, you please tell us what we did wrong, what offense we made, that we can correct. Then Srinivas said, no, not your offense. I did offense. I lost the books from Vrindavan. I lost. So that is my offense. Then the king said, no, their books are there. You see, if these are the books. Then when he saw, then yes, then this is how he got the books. And then immediately he sent message to Jiva Goswami in Vrindavan and also to Narottam and others. They were all relieved and happy. And Birhambir and his entire entourage all took initiation from Srinivas Acharya and dedicated their entire lives and wealth to him. At initiation, Birhambir king was given the name Chaitanya Das. Then after staying some time there, then he came back to his home in Bengal, Jajigram, and then his mother expressed desire that he should get married, and she told to Narahari Sarkar Thakur, pure devotee, that it is her desire. Then Narahari also told him, yes, you should get married. And even before this, in dream, Srinivas Acharya got this same command from Advaita Acharya. See, again, another dream came. You have to get married. So 3 persons, they ordered him, Mother, Narahari Sarkar and Advaita Acharya. So he could not refuse, and he agreed to get married and was wed to Ishwari, the devoted daughter of Gopal Chakravarti of Jajigram. Here Gurudev wrote, it is not always easy to understand the divine activities of Mahaprabhu's devotees. Only someone who is totally surrendered to the Lord and his devotees can comprehend their glories. Then Srinivas Acharya was preaching there in Jajigram, that village, and many became converted to devotees. And then another, when Gadhadhar Das, Shuklam Brahmachari, Narahari Sarkar, they also disappeared. Then Srinivas Acharya was again overcome by grief and made another trip to Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, all devotees, Jiva Goswami and others, they pacified him. Then he made this disappearance festival of Gadhadhar Das, which we heard before when he returned. And when Narottam Thakur installed the deities there in his village, Keturi, Srinivas Acharya installed those deities and he did the first puja there. Jannava Devi was also present. And he also went to, with Narottam Thakur, he went to Navadip to do parikrama of 9 islands. And before that, already in Vrindavan, on the order of Jiva Goswami, they did with Raghav Goswami. We are hearing this during Julan Yatra. Raghav Goswami from South India, he knew all the places in Brajadham, so he took them, Narottam, Srinivas, and another one, and he, parikrama. Then, when Raghunandan Thakur left this world, then Srinivas Acharya participated in the Disappearance Festival. Then he went to his home, and from there again he went to visit this Bon Vishnupur, to visit his disciple King and his entourage. He was staying there for some time. They received him. So there, when he was there in that place, he again got one dream. Who came? Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu came in dream and said, you will have to again marry one more wife. Her name is Gauranga Priya, the daughter of a certain Raghav Chakravarti. Raghav Chakravarti and his wife Madhavi had been searching for a suitable husband for their daughter. They had simultaneously received the order to give their daughter in marriage to Srinivas Acharya in a dream. Srinivas Acharya thus married for the second time. In dream got order. Both they got. So here Gurudev again explaining, pure devotees have no objective in life other than to fulfill the desires of the Supreme Lord. They are thus ready to do anything if it pleases the Lord. None of their activities has the slightest hint of material desire in it. Srinivas Acharya is the Shakti Abhishta avatar of Mahaprabhu, or Shakti Abhesh, one whose potency is there, of Mahaprabhu. And only a person who has received his special blessings can describe his transcendental activities. That is on transcendental platform. They will assist each other in the service of Krishna. There is no other selfish material desires fulfillment there. That is pure marriage in relation to Krishna for his service. So he had to play this pastime of being married 2 times. Some Mahaprabhu's associates, they were like renounced, some were householders, but it is same. All they have only one desire and one activity, to serve Krishna and his devotees, either in household life or the Bhaktivinoda Thakur sang, Grihe tako, bone tako, sada hori bole tako. Either you stay in house or you stay in forest. The point is you have to always chant Harinam. And Narottam Thakur said, Grihe babonete tako, hago rango bole dako, Narottam agetarsana. Someone may be staying in house or in forest. If he is feeling separation grief from Mahaprabhu and saying, Hago rango, hago, Narottam Thakur, I want his association. Some pure devotees, they are in household life, some are in like this. Ambarish Maharaj, Dhruva, Prahlad, many of Mahaprabhu's associates, Advaita Acharya, Srinivas, or some are in associates. Target is same. They are serving Krishna as per his desire. So in Srinivas Acharya it was like this, that he had to marry 2 times. So on today's day I am bowing down to Srinivas Acharya and praying his causeless mercy. And we are observing Kartik Vrata. We have to daily hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Narad Goswami understood that they are proud, Nalakuver and Manigri, because of their wealth. So they are misbehaving, and also cruelty to animals comes from this. And unless one is a rascal, one cannot commit such sinful activities. Yesterday we heard atheistic fools and rascals who are very much proud of wealth fail to see things as they are. Therefore, returning them to poverty is the proper ointment for their eyes, so they may see things as they are. At least a poverty-stricken man can realize how painful poverty is, and therefore he will not want others to be in a painful condition like his own. Yesterday I told I will read from this purport, one story Sai Maharaj is giving. One time a mouse was very much harassed by a cat, and therefore the mouse approached a saintly person to request to become a cat. When the mouse became a cat, he was harassed by a dog. And then when he became a dog, again by the request, he was harassed by a tiger. But when he became a tiger, he stared at the saintly person. And when the saintly person asked him, "What do you want?" the tiger said, "I want to eat you." Then the saintly person cursed him, saying, "May you again become a mouse." A similar thing is going on all over the universe. One is going up and down, sometimes becoming a mouse, sometimes tiger, and so on. So here it was written before that one who is poor, he's okay. But when he gets more money, then he will start to misbehave and will improperly use for enjoyment money for woman, alcohol, and all these things. So here this mouse also ultimately became tiger and wanted to misuse his position as a tiger to eat that saintly person who himself was giving him this. So then again that saintly person cursed him, "You become a mouse." Like that, Narad Goswami, he wants to make them poor so that they will see things as they are. Otherwise they are blinded by their pride. So one verse I will read. Yatha kantaka vidhango jantor nechati tam vyatam jiva samyam gato linger na tatavida kantaka. By seeing their faces, one whose body has been pricked by pins can understand the pain of others who are pin pricked. Realizing that this pain is the same for everyone, he does not want others to suffer in this way. But one who has never been pricked by pins cannot understand this pain. Tomorrow we will hear further. Pure devotee always is making proper treatment for conditioned souls according to their circumstance and everything. So bona fide guru, realized soul, can do this. He can understand situation and advise or give treatment accordingly for their eternal welfare. Tomorrow we'll hear.